So in this slide, here you see a picture of a doctor, and you also see the Bhagavad Gita. So why do we normally go to the doctor? So you can put your responses in the chat. Why do we normally go to the doctor? What is the reason? For health issues, yes. For treatment, for curing, yes. To cure our health, if we have any disease, to be pain-free, yes, that's very nice. So the reason we go to the doctor is when we are ill and we want to get rid of the illness, we want to stop with the pain. And yes, the doctor gives us a prescription for medicines and we are hoping for a cure. So this is very, very important. We want to get cured, so we go to consult a doctor. So what does the doctor typically do? He diagnoses your health issue, and then based on his assessment, he will write you a prescription. In the prescription will be instructions. The instructions will be, what medicines you have to take. When should you take these medicines? Should you take these medicines before food or after food? What are the foods you're allowed to have? What are the foods you should avoid? So when the doctor tries to help you to overcome your disease so that you can be pain-free, he gives you a list of instructions along with the prescriptions. So we have that much trust and faith in the doctor. And therefore, whatever the doctor writes in the prescription, we immediately fulfill those prescriptions, and then we go home, and then we very diligently, we follow the doctor's instructions. Similarly, in life, we have so many problems. Just like we said, because we have health issues, we go to the doctor. Because we have pain, we go to the doctor. And we are looking for a cure. So similarly, Krishna gives us a cure for all of the kinds of sufferings that we have in life. And therefore, you could say that the Bhagavad Gita is life's manual. It's Krishna's prescription for us on how we can get rid of the diseases of sorrow, despair, unhappiness, all of the negative things that we experience in life. So Krishna is giving us a perfect prescription, the ultimate prescription for lasting happiness. So if we want to be happy all the time, then we have to be ready to follow Krishna's instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. So just like the doctor gives you prescriptions, Krishna is giving us prescriptions to help us become better as a human being. So that is a very important aspect of the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna loves us so much that he wants us to be happy. He does not want us to be unhappy at all. The doctor, you can pay him a fee and he will write you the prescription, then you will spend money to fulfill that prescription. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving you the cure for free. You don't have to pay him anything because he already loves you. So he's given all of these instructions for us so that we can find a cure for our illness. So because 18 days is a long period of time for us, many of us have very, very busy schedules in life and so many different responsibilities towards our family. We may be students, we may be working long hours in the office. So the thing that we want to do is we want to pray that we find the strength, the determination, and the time over the next 18 days so that all of us can attend these 18-day sessions very nicely and find the solution for what we're looking for in life. Yes. So before we begin, let's chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. All of us can do it together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So with that, I hope we are all set for the next 18 days to begin our session. So the very first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is called Observing the Armies on the Battlefield. So there are 18 chapters in the Bhagavad Gita, and there are a total of 700 shlokas. So these 700 shlokas are spread across these 18 chapters. And these 18 chapters are divided into 3 sections. So the first 6 chapters, many of you may know the answer to this, is called Karma Yoga. The next 6 chapters, the middle 6 chapters, are called Bhakti Yoga. And then the final 6 chapters, which is from chapter 13 to chapter 18, that is called Jnana Yoga. So chapter 1 is divided into these following sections. So from shlokas 1 to 11, we are going to look at the battlefield. We're not going to go into the details of the battlefield because many of you may have already read the Mahabharata and know all the story behind it. So from shlokas 12 to 20, we're going to look at the signs of victory for the Pandavas. From shlokas 21 to 27, we're going to look at the causeless mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. And then finally, in the last set of shlokas, which is from shloka 28 to 46, we're going to encounter Arjuna's reluctance to fight. He really doesn't want to fight. And we're going to discover why is that he doesn't want to fight. Now, after coming to the battlefield, why would somebody decide they really don't want to fight? So now I am going to first release a poll. So let me see if I can, because I have a question for you. Okay. So for those of you who are joining on your phone, you should be able to see the poll by going to the 3 dots, and there you can see the poll. Some of you are already answering the questions. The question is, what is your opinion of dharma? Because dharma is the core subject matter of the Bhagavad Gita. What is your opinion of dharma? So I'll give a few more minutes for you all to answer. Okay. All right. Okay, so the majority of you have selected option 2. The first option that I gave was, I'm really not worried about dharma or adharma. The second option was, I will follow dharma and help others who follow dharma. And the third option is, I don't know anything about dharma, but I will think about how whatever I do may hurt or impact others. Okay. So actually, dharma is a very difficult topic to understand. Very difficult. Because there are so many different dharmas in Shastra. So whether we are following dharma or not, most of us do not even know the answer to that question. We do not know what is dharma or adharma. So that is the difficulty that is facing Arjuna also. What is dharma? What is not dharma? When there are so many dharmas, which dharma should I follow? This question of dharma is very difficult to answer. But let us begin by looking at what is Dhritarashtra's mood, what is Duryodhana's mood in the Bhagavad Gita. So this is the first shloka in the Bhagavad Gita, which says, Dhritarashtra vacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamakav pandavaschaiva kimakurvata sanjaya. See, so Dhritarashtra is saying, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? So the question is, why is Dhritarashtra asking Sanjaya this? Because Sanjaya is not on the battlefield. Sanjaya is actually sitting in the palace with Dhritarashtra. But Sanjaya had been given what is called divine vision, Divya Drishti. Who did he get this benediction from? He got it from his own guru, Srila Vyasadeva. So Srila Vyasadeva was pleased with his disciples so much that he gives them this specific benediction of being able to see things that are happening in a very distant place, but in his mind's eye. Yes. So it is not that Sanjaya had such powerful eyes. Sitting in the palace, he could see what was going on in the battlefield. No, he was actually able to see in his mind's eye what all was happening on the battlefield. Therefore, Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya, so now I understand my sons are there on the battlefield. Oh, and by the way, the Pandu's sons are also there on the battlefield. So what did they do is Dhritarashtra's question. So one thing to remember here is that Dhritarashtra is blind. He was born blind, but he had this raging desire to be the king. And because of his blindness, it was not accepted in society that when there is another son who's capable of being the king, it is better for that particular son to rule the kingdom. So in this case, Pandu becomes the king. But then later on, Pandu dies at a very early age, at a very young age, and Dhritarashtra is placed on the throne with the understanding that when the Pandavas grow up, ultimately they will take over the kingdom. So that was the unsaid rule. But because Dhritarashtra was so thirsty for the throne, and since he knew he could not permanently occupy the throne, he developed this burning desire that his son Duryodhana should occupy the throne. So here, imagine, we really don't need to know the details of the Mahabharata. Just imagine there is a father, he has two sons. To one of the son, he gives all the wealth, and to the other son, he just doesn't give him anything. Definitely in any family where this happens, immediately there will be a fight. What will happen? A court case will be filed, and the two sons will be fighting it out because the father gave one a lot of wealth and the other one, he didn't give anything. So this was the situation in the family. So this was really a family affair. Pandavas on one side, Kauravas on the other side. So in this case, you would also fight. If what justly belongs to you was not given to you, then you would also fight. And because of the Kauravas' attitude of not willing to share, this war actually started. So Duryodhana is the oldest son of Dhrtarashtra, and he, along with his father, plot different ways and means by which they can acquire the kingdom. So Duryodhana was so adharmic that Dhritarashtra was willing to turn a blind eye simply because he had this deep desire for his son to become the king. So Dhritarashtra was not only physically blind, but he was also materially blind, spiritually blind. Therefore, he could not really think about what was right and what was wrong. So in life too, when we have blind affection for our children, we could end up causing them a great deal of harm. So this kind of blindness, where we don't correct our children when they do something wrong, is actually going to end up harming that child in the future, which is exactly what Dhritarashtra did. He did not once check his sons when they did so many adharmic things. He did not question them. See, what is a king's duty? A king's duty is to make sure law and order prevails in the kingdom. So what will happen if your own son violates law and order? Should you not punish him? Should you not correct him? Should you not address the issue? So this was Dhritarashtra's blindness. He was sitting on the throne, but he disregarded everything adharmic that was done by his own son Duryodhana, simply because he had this great greed for his son to be seated on the throne. So even our affection to our children, blind affection without having the ability to correct them, is actually going to cause that child a great deal of harm. So this is the one thing we can learn from this particular episode of how Dhritarashtra turned a blind eye towards what his sons were doing. So what you notice in the shloka is two things, that Dhritarashtra is quite partial, right? He's not saying my nephews. He's saying my sons, and then he's saying the Pandu's sons. What is the other thing he is doubting? He's not sure if his sons will actually win the war. So in the second section of this chapter 1, the list of all of the soldiers on both sides are there. So it is said that the Pandavas had 7 Akshauhinis and the Kauravas had 11 Akshauhinis. So what is an Akshauhini? So very quickly you can see here, what is fascinating is if you add all these numbers, so 21,870 elephants, 21,870 chariots, if you add each of those, the number will add up to 9. 65,610 horses or cavalry, 1,350 infantrymen. So there is no rounded number. It's not like 21,000, 65,000, 110,000. It's a specific number. So all of these numbers, if you add them in that individual rows, they will all add up to 9. So this is mentioned in the Mahabharata Adi Parva. Now we know the pastime of how Arjuna and Duryodhana go to Krishna. Duryodhana arrives first and he places himself at the head of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna was taking a nap. And then Arjuna arrives a little later and he is seated at the lotus feet of the Lord. So when the Lord wakes up, he sees Arjuna first. And then he sees Duryodhana. And he asks them both, why are you here? How can I help you? And so Duryodhana said, why are you asking Arjuna first? I was here first. So at that time, Krishna said, see, there are 2 options, either me or my army. So Krishna also had 11 Akshauhinis. Then we know Arjuna got the option to select first. So Arjuna actually selects Krishna. He wanted Krishna. He did not care for the army of Krishna. And Duryodhana was thinking, oh, this is great. What a fool Arjuna is. I mean, how can I win a battle without a large army? So it is better for me to get the Narayani Sena. And that's what happened. Arjuna got Krishna and Duryodhana got Krishna's Narayani Sena. What is interesting is that Krishna himself had 11 Akshauhinis, but out of those 11, only 2 participated in the war. Now, Krishna had made a promise, if I fight in the war, I will not pick up any weapon. So different groups parted ways because Balaram did not want to participate in the war. So 9 Akshauhinis also decided they will not participate in the war. So 2 Akshauhinis of Krishna participate in the war, 1 on the Kaurava side, 1 on the Pandava side. Yes, that is what actually happened. So anyway, this is just some technical details here. Let us look at Duryodhana's mood. So Duryodhana is saying, Anyecha bahava shura madarte tyakta jivitaha nana shastra praharanaha sarve yuddha visharadhaha. So look at Duryodhana's mood. What is he saying? There are many heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science. So what is Duryodhana displaying when he says, see, so many soldiers are there on my side. Every one of them is ready to lay down their life for my sake. He is not saying for the sake of dharma. He is saying everyone is ready to give up the life for me. So one is so much arrogance and one is also so much selfishness. This is what Duryodhana is displaying here. If you look at another shloka here, in the next shloka, the 10th shloka, Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishma bhirakshitam paryaptam tvidametesham balam bhima bhirakshitam. So here Duryodhana is saying our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Now, if Bhishma is the commander on the side of the Kauravas, his counterpart on the Pandavas side is actually Dhrishtadyumna. So you see what Duryodhana is doing? Instead of comparing Bhishma and Dhrishtadyumna, he is comparing Bhishma to Bhima. Bhima is not the counterpart to Bhishma on the other side. Why? Because he is afraid of what Bhima is going to do, whether he is going to tear up his thighs and kill him in that way. Yes. So that is the mood of Duryodhana. So on the one hand, arrogance, selfishness, pride that he's got such a large, fantastic army. On the other hand, a little bit of fear. Fear that Bhima will be the cause of his death. So you can see that both Dhritarashtra's mood and Duryodhana's mood is, little bit of fear, little bit of bravery, little bit of hope. So what is it that Duryodhana actually exemplifies? Selfishness and conceit. Conceit, you could say, is self-pride, right? He was willing to do anything to get the kingdom, including adharmic things. So when we get ready to destroy others because of our selfishness, then ultimately we ourselves will get destroyed. However, when we take shelter of Krishna and when we take shelter of Dharma, then Dharma and Krishna will always protect us. See, when Duryodhana was mentioning the various names of the warriors, both on the Pandava side and the Kaurava side, he never mentions Krishna. But he mentions Karna. Karna is not on the battlefield. He only comes on the 11th day. Karna is not fighting on the battlefield. But he mentions Karna's name, even though he will come much later. And so actually Karna's name is mentioned a few times in the Bhagavad Gita, even though he has not yet come to the battlefield. So now let us look at the third section, where there are certain symbols or signals that says that the Pandavas are going to be victorious. Yes. So let us see what are those signs of victory. So in this particular shloka, Sanjaya is telling Dhrtarashtra, Saghosho Dhrtarashtranam hridayani vyadarayat nabhascha prithivim chaiva tumulobhyanunadhaya. So the blowing of these different conch shells become uproarious, means very noisy, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So when all of the Pandavas, Arjuna, Krishna, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Nakula and Sahadev, and all of the other soldiers on the Pandava side, each of them blew their conch shell after Bhishma Dev blew his conch shell for the first time. So here, Sanjaya is saying, when Duryodhana heard this uproarious conch shells being blown, not only Duryodhana, but all of his brothers, it shattered their hearts. So, for example, let us say you are, driving on the street and you hear the police siren behind you. What would happen? If you are a thief in the process of robbing a store, you will definitely be very, very afraid, But if you're a law-abiding citizen and you hear a police siren behind you, you will just move or look around and see what is happening. You will have no fear. So who will fear a police siren? A thief. So similarly, Krishna has blown his conch shell. The father of Dharma has blown his conch shell. Who is going to experience fear? It's not going to be the law-abiding citizens who experience fear. So blowing of the Krishna's conch shell is equivalent to the blowing of that siren, of the police siren, and the thieves being afraid. That is why Sanjaya says that here the Kauravas were filled with fear, so much so it shattered their hearts. So other signs of victory that are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita are that Krishna's conch shell is divine. The word used in that shloka is divya, meaning it is transcendental, right? Because it is Krishna's conch shell. Krishna himself as the father of Dharma is present there. Hanuman is there on Arjuna's flag as moral support. And then Adhishta Devata, Shri Mahalakshmi, is always there, because wherever Krishna is there, Lakshmi Devi should be there, because she never leaves her consort's side. And then Agni Dev has gifted a chariot to Arjuna. So all of these are signaling that the Pandavas will be very victorious. But in the next 7 shlokas, 8 shlokas, we can also see that the Lord is so merciful. So let's look at the shloka. Arjuna is saying, Senayor ubhayor madhye ratham sthapaya mechuta yavadetan niriksheham yodhu kaman avasthitan kairmaya sahayodhavyam asmin ranasamudyame. What is Arjuna saying? Arjuna is saying, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the 2 armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. So who is the master and who is the servant? Can you all put in the chat? Who is the master and who is the servant here? in this picture, who's the master and who's the servant? The master is Arjuna. That's right. The master is Arjuna. Why is Arjuna the master? Because he's the warrior. And Krishna is the servant. He's instructing Krishna, hey Krishna, go do this. Take the chariot and put it in between the two armies. So Arjuna is instructing Krishna. Krishna, who is the Supreme Lord, willingly took the role of the charioteer of Arjuna. On the battlefield, if a warrior wants to direct the charioteer, go left, go right, what they would do, the warrior would place his foot on the charioteer's shoulder to let him know, left foot on the left shoulder if he wants him to go left, right foot on the right shoulder if he wants him to go right. So all of the signaling happened with the foot. Imagine placing your foot on the Supreme Lord and telling him go left, go right. That is Krishna. He loves his devotees so much. He's willing to do anything for them. So Krishna is called Bhakta Vatsala. He loves his devotees, and because he loves his devotees, he's ready to do anything for them. He's ready to even protect them. He's ready to take a menial position with his devotees. So seeing this, that Arjuna had such a great charioteer by the name Sri Krishna, Karna also thought, I also want a king as my charioteer. After all, Krishna was the king of Dwaraka. He was not an ordinary personality. He had a huge army. He had a huge kingdom. So imagine one king becoming the charioteer of Arjuna. So Karna thought, oh, even I want a king as my charioteer. And somehow or the other, Salya becomes his charioteer. But what would Krishna do at the end of the day when the war or that battle for that particular day stopped? Normally, the horses would be untied. The horses had to be fed their food. They had to be cleaned. If they got injured, their injury had to be taken care of. So what would Krishna do at the end of each day? He would take care of the horses. He would wipe them. He would brush them. He would feed them. He would take care of any injuries they had. So Karna, seeing this, tells Salya, who's also a king, you should also do this. You should take care of the horses. You should make sure you clean them up and get them ready for the next day. And Salya said, are you mad? I am a king. You are lucky that I am your charioteer. I will not be doing any such thing. So just look at the difference between the Lord's mood when he is participating on the battlefield. Completely dedicated and committed to doing everything that is necessary for the Pandavas' victory. And Krishna, being the Supreme Lord, he could have organized the victory in so many different ways. But look at how diligently Krishna is taking care of everything. So when you take shelter of Krishna, you will always have his protection. So there is a saying, Rakhe Krishna Mare Ke, Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke. So if Krishna wants to protect me, he will protect me. If Krishna wants to destroy me, he will destroy me. So therefore, if we seek the Lord's help, he will always protect us because he is Bhakta Vatsalam. So Krishna loves his devotees so much, he's ready to do anything for them. To the final section of today's chapter 1 session, we said that Arjuna expresses his desire not to fight. He doesn't want this war. So let us look at what Arjuna's mood is now, right? We saw Duryodhana's mood. a little bit of pride, a little bit of self-conceit, selfishness, a little bit of fear. Dhrtarashtra's mood, little bit doubtful, little bit hopeful that his sons would win. Let us look at Arjuna's mood. So Arjuna is saying, Aho bata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yadrajya sukhalobhena hantum swajanam udyataha. So Arjuna, after instructing Krishna, Krishna has been very obedient and taken the chariot to the middle and put it right in front of Dronacharya and Bhishma Dev. And seeing this scene, Arjuna is thinking, oh, what am I about to do? I'm about to commit such a sinful act. I have to kill my guru. I have to kill my beloved grandfather. After all, these are all my family members. How is it that I decided that this war was okay? I mean, this kingdom became so important to me that I was ready to kill everybody. So Arjuna gives 4 reasons in chapter 1 as to why he should not fight. He says, look, after all, Krishna, these are all my friends, they are all my relatives. I love them so much. And because I love them so much, how can I kill them? And if I kill them and I win, how can I enjoy? Because what is the point of killing your own family members and then thinking you're going to be happy? After all, whatever victory you have, you want to share it with your family members. So Arjuna is asking, hey Krishna, what's the use? Even if you make me the emperor of all the 3 worlds, the 3 different planetary systems, I cannot enjoy this kind of victory. So it is better that I don't fight. Then Arjuna says, if I kill all these people, I will be committing so much sin. I have to take on so much karma. How can I do that? I'm not ready to take the results of killing so many people. And then finally Arjuna says, if everybody dies, if all of the men die, what will happen to society in the future? There will be no elderly people to guide the society. So the whole family culture, tradition, everything will get destroyed. So Arjuna is demonstrating the exact opposite mood, attitude, values compared to Duryodhana. Arjuna is so compassionate, he's saying, I am not willing to fight this battle. I don't want to be responsible for the death of my own friends, relatives, guru, elders. Therefore, Krishna, I'm not going to fight. Saying this, Arjuna puts his Gandiva bow down and says, hey Govinda, I will not fight. So now, I have a question for you. Okay, so here comes the next poll. So the reasons that Arjuna gives, the question is, do you agree or do you not agree? So the next question is up. Arjuna is saying, I'm not going to fight. So the question is, do you think Arjuna was right? Or do you think he was wrong? Would you have given the same reasons that Arjuna did? Do you agree with Arjuna? Okay. Some of you are not sure if Arjuna is thinking the right way. the reasons that Arjuna gives, I don't want to kill, I don't want to commit the sin, I don't want to destroy my own family, I can't enjoy. Okay. So, as per the voting, okay, so 15% of you are saying you're not sure. 30% of you are saying no, the reasons that Arjuna is giving is not right. So 55% of you are saying, yeah, Arjuna is right. He's right. He shouldn't fight. All the reasons he's giving is all very, very valid. So interesting. So we will discover. So since the majority of you are saying you agree with Arjuna, we will only find the answer tomorrow when you come for chapter 2. But let us continue. There is one more I want to share with you. So the question was, these are the reasons that Arjuna is giving. I should not fight because of these reasons. So the majority of you are saying that Arjuna is right. Yes? Okay. So here, one important thing that we can learn is that when we are determined not to bring harm to others, then automatically we will receive the grace of the Lord. So unnecessary violence is not something that we should engage in. So similarly, Arjuna was thinking, this is unnecessary violence. I really shouldn't fight. So what to do? He's confused. So sometimes in life, we will have such confusions. Let's say you get a job offer, okay? You have applied to multiple companies and you have 2 job offers in your hand. One job offer says you will get 40 lakhs per year, but you have to travel, say, 30 kilometers to go to the job and come back. Then you have one more offer letter in your hand. That offer letter says you will get 20 lakhs per year, but that job is just like, say, 2 kilometers from your house. How will you make the decision which job offer to take? Should you go with the one that is high salary, but you have to travel a great distance? Or will you go with the one with a lower salary? It is quite close by. Okay. How many of you would select? It's not an easy decision to make. Do you think it's an easy decision to make? One is high salary, far away. 2 is low salary, close to your house. See? Some of you are saying high salary. Some of you are selecting closer to the house. So, although this is not a dharmic question, it's just that we face situations like this in life, no? Even simple decisions are not that simple. It can be really complicated. So life can get very, very complicated. Very, very complicated. I gave you a simple example. High salary, low salary, far away, close to your house, So, so many women may have selected low salary so that they can be close to the house. Many men may select higher salary because they are willing to make that sacrifice of traveling such a great distance. So sometimes you have conflicts within your family. 2 different loved ones may have 2 different opinions and you are forced to make a choice between one or the other. For men who are married, wife will say one thing, mother will say another thing. And if you don't listen to one or the other, both of them will end up being upset. So you're in a very tight spot. So who should you listen to? So these kind of vexing questions we will also experience in life. So Arjuna is confused. He thinks he should not fight. But in the second chapter, he will tell Krishna, actually, Krishna, I am thoroughly confused. I really don't know what is the right thing to do in this particular situation. I'm not sure if I should fight or not fight. So it is this question that Arjuna is thinking about. Should I fight or should I not fight? He's kind of made up his mind that he should not fight, but at the same time, he's not sure if that's the right decision. Many of us will also face this situation in life. We may have made a decision, but there is little bit of doubt that is there. I don't know if I am doing the right thing or not. I don't know. So when you don't know, you will seek help. You will seek guidance from your friends, family members, or maybe from God. You will ask the Lord to send you a sign as to what is the right thing to do. Many of us will put a chit, one chit will say yes, another chit will say no. We will shake that chit in our hand, put it in front of the Lord, pick up one, and hope and pray that the Lord has said yes to whatever it is that you wanted. So sometimes we have difficulty making decision, and we want the Lord to tell us what is the right decision to make. Yeah. So here, if you want to understand how did Arjuna overcome his confusion, and how does he begin to make his decision? Because ultimately, that is what life is all about. Lot of conflicting situations, lot of conflicting decisions, etc. So with that, we've come to the conclusion of chapter 1. So I'll take this time to request you, if you have any questions, we can certainly handle those questions now. So I have given you the opportunity to raise your hand so that not all of you are speaking at once. It'll be easier for me to hear the question that way. If you have a question, you can raise your hand.
Hello?
And yes, Hare Krishna.
I'm saying that why Arjuna fought the battle? Because Krishna said to fight.
Why Arjuna fought the battle? Because Krishna said to fight. Okay, very nice.
Mean,
Yes.
because say that if he could not fight, that Kurukshetra war could not happen. No, means or period this all soldier could not destroy. No, that for that I'm saying.
Yeah, if Arjuna decided not to fight, your question is, then the battle itself would not have taken place. But Arjuna fought because Krishna asked him to fight.
Yeah.
Correct? That is what you're saying.
Because of dharma should fight, because if we don't fight, dharma will not become.
Yes, but how to know when to fight and when not to fight? That we don't know. Also, we don't know what is the right dharma in what situation. Correct?
uh,
Yes. Okay. Rajesh Prabhu, you have a question? You can unmute yourself.
Hello, ma'am. I am from Telangana state,
Ah,
Bhadrapati district. I have a one doubt. Like Arjuna is the greatest warrior in the Mahabharata, that is no doubt at all. But in that critical situations like doubts, self